Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into the world of Hollowed to rank every playable race and break down what makes each one special and where they might fall a bit short. Whether you're a seasoned player or just getting started, this tier list will give you all the juicy details you need to pick the race that best suits your playstyle. So buckle up and let's take a look at the pros and cons of each race, from the powerhouses that dominate the battlefield to the underdogs that need a little extra love. Now remember, every race in Hollowed has its own unique vibe, its strengths, and a few quirks that make it shine, or maybe not so much in certain situations. We'll be going over everything, from the all-stars that make you feel invincible to those that, well, might need a little more polishing. No matter where your favorites land on the list, there's a place for everyone in this spooky, thrilling world of Hollowed. So grab a snack, hit that like button, and let's jump into the Hollowed race tier list. I'm quickly moving on to the video, and I'm ranking races in Hollowed. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of tier list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching.
A very small portion of the audience is subscribed to the channel. Please don't forget to subscribe if you like these types of videos. Thanks.
The races in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Onija. Alright, let's dive into the land of why did I even pick this class? Yep, we're talking about the Onija from Hollowed. This is one of those classes that sounds like it should be epic, right? I mean, you've got a rage ability that cranks up your stats temporarily, you get a fist damage buff, and your dash speed matches the base swordsman. But somehow, it's like all that potential just falls flat. Here's the thing, Onija feels like it was built to be this unstoppable powerhouse. You get to punch things, and you get a bit of a boost while doing it. But when you actually play it, the excitement fades fast. Punching enemies over and over can get a bit, well, repetitive. And with no flashy skills or unique mechanics to spice things up, Onija ends up feeling pretty one-dimensional. You're not slicing through enemies or casting spells, you're just throwing fists, again and again. So if you're looking for a class that keeps you engaged or has a bit of flair, Onija might not be for you. It's a class that's stuck doing one thing and it does it decently, but there's just no wow factor here. It's like they handed you a hammer and said, go forth and smash, but forgot to include anything to actually smash with style. Onija could be a hidden gem in theory, but in practice, it's a bit of a sleeper. The races in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Zari. Alright, so let's dive into Zari, an interesting, but honestly kinda middle of the road race in Hollowed. You know, the type of pick that sounds good on paper, but doesn't always deliver the punch you'd hope for. Zari's got this cool ability called Myth of Magic. It lets you fire off up to 5 spells in just 15 seconds. Pretty wild, right? If you're the type who likes to feel like a magical machine gun, this could be a lot of fun. Those 15 seconds can make you feel like you're untouchable, just raining down spells on your enemies. And then there's Scholar Bloom, which actually solves a big problem for spellcasters: mana. With this, your mana regenerates much faster than usual, so you're not just sitting around waiting for that bar to fill up again. It's a massive quality of life boost if you're someone who loves chaining spells. So, in short, Zari's got this little boost in mana and a rapid fire spell phase, that is Saishis Basis, which makes it super fun when you're on the attack. But here's the downside. And yeah, there's always a catch, isn't there? After those few moments of glory, there's really not much else going on. Zari lacks the versatility and depth of some other races, so once you're out of your Spell Burst and Scholar Bloom, you might find yourself waiting for another chance to shine. It's solid, but definitely lacks that wow factor for people looking for a more dynamic, all-around race in Hollowed. The races in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Hydra, Shayla, and Reefer. Alright, you're in the middle of Hollowed and you're probably thinking, what race should I go for next? Well, let's dive right into the B tier races that pack some unique perks without completely stealing the spotlight. These picks may not be the absolute top, but they bring some serious fun to the table if you know how to use them, right? So let's kick it off with Hydra. Now, Hydra is the perfect pick if you like your combat fiery and fierce. With its Dragon Breath ability, you're basically a walking, talking flamethrower. Fire breathing in combat? That's an instant cool factor right there. Plus, when your health dips below 40%, your defense kicks up a notch, making you a bit tougher when you need it most. And for those of you running a Fire Mage setup, Hydra gives you that extra oomph in damage with fire spells. But beyond the fire gimmick, Hydra doesn't offer much else, so don't expect to be tanking hits or working with any big boosts outside of fire abilities. Alright, moving on to Shayla. This race is all about stacking power and dropping it at the right moment. Shale builds up stacks that you can unleash as an AoE debuff called Confusion, which doesn't just mess with your enemies, it also buffs you. We're talking increased defense, attack speed, damage, and even movement. It's like a mini power trip, but only when you have those stacks ready. Shale also brings a damage boost with any weapon you use and gets a nice hunger replenishment whenever you eat meat, which is a cool little perk. But here's the thing, I'd love to see just a bit more happening with Shaley. It's solid, but it feels like it's missing that last little pop to make it shine. Alright, here's where things get wild. Reefer. Picture this, you can see through walls. Yep, you heard that right. You'll spot enemies, friendly NPCs, and even other players hanging out on the other side of any structure. This makes you the ultimate scout. Reefer's Hunter Instinct gives you a 7% boost in attack speed, which keeps the adrenaline high, and then there's Hunter Mode. This one's a game changer. It allows you to get back up after getting knocked down with a neat 20% HP replenish. After that, any damage you deal will heal you up even more, making you a real survivor. But there are some trade-offs. Reefer's Hunter Instinct lowers your defense, which can make you feel a little exposed if you're not careful, and Hunter Mode, while super helpful, slows down your speed and damage. So if you're jumping back up mid-battle, you'll be a bit slower and have to play it smart. So that's the scoop on the B tier races. Hydra gives you a firepower edge, Shaley's all about timing your stacks for a powerful AoE, and Reefer, well, it's your go-to if you want to go full Predator mode and turn into the ultimate survivor. The races in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Rias and Eclipse. Alright, let's talk about two really cool races in Hollow today, Rias and Eclipse. They both come with their own strengths and weaknesses, so if you're looking for some versatility in your gameplay, these two might just be the perfect fit for you. Let's dive in. First up, we have Rias. Imagine a race that's all about enhancing your fire-based abilities. The Demon's Wish ability is like a little power-up that buffs your damage, fire damage, and attack speed. So, if you're looking to melt enemies with a fiery barrage, Rias has got you covered. And the best part? You won't have to worry about pesky heatstroke or the burn debuff, which means you can keep going even in the harshest environments. It's like the game's way of saying, hey, you're immune to the usual fire hazards. The only downside here is that, outside of fire damage, this race doesn't offer a lot of other benefits, so it's kind of specialized. But if you're all about that fiery life, Rias might be your go-to. Now, let's switch gears and talk about Eclipse. Eclipse is all about playing with time and the night sky. First, there's the Lunar Ghost ability, where you can summon a ghost to fight by your side. Sure, it's not the strongest companion around, with only 50 damage, but it adds a nice extra layer to your strategy. And then there's the Sacrifice ability. When your health is between 20% and 90%, you can turn back time and heal yourself up. It's a clutch move, but it does come with a bit of a catch. After you use it, you won't be able to use any racial abilities for an entire hour, so you need to plan your moves carefully. The other cool thing about Eclipse is that when it's nighttime, you're basically buffed up to the max, which means more power during those dark hours. The flip side, you're stuck with 100 less HP than other races, so you'll need to be a bit more careful about taking damage. In terms of playstyle, Rias will definitely appeal to those who love specializing in specific types of damage, particularly fire-based attacks. If you're the type to embrace a single powerful element and go all in, Rias is perfect for you. It's all about maximizing those fiery boosts and staying immune to the usual fire-based troubles. But don't expect a wide range of versatility. Rias is a specialist, not a jack of all trades. On the other hand, Eclipse is more of a strategic race. It offers a bit of everything: time manipulation, buffs at night, and the ability to summon a ghost for some extra support. But with that 100 HP disadvantage, you've got to play smart. The Sacrifice ability can save you in a pinch, but if you overuse it, you might find yourself vulnerable for a while. Eclipse really rewards players who are good at timing their abilities and knowing when to take a step back and heal up. So, which one's better? It depends on your style. If you're all about firepower and want to be unstoppable in fire-themed fights, Rias might be your perfect match. But if you like a bit of strategy, the ability to heal yourself when needed, and enjoy the night buffs, Eclipse could be the way to go. Both races have their pros and cons, but that's the beauty of Hollowed. It's all about finding the race that fits your gameplay and mastering it. The races in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Akula. Let's talk about the Akula, shall we? If you've ever wondered what it feels like to be an unstoppable predator in Hollowed, this is your race. The Akula's abilities are perfect for players who love to play aggressively. especially when it comes to movement and regeneration. First off, their ability to bite enemies to restore HP is a game changer. Whether you're taking on a tough fight or just trying to stay in the game, having that instant heal can make all the difference. Now, let's get into the Akula's water-based buffs because, oh boy, this is where things get fun. When you're in the water, you get a serious speed boost, increased attack speed, and a nice regen buff. Imagine zooming around the map, your attacks landing faster, and your health slowly ticking back up as you make those aquatic moves. It's like the Akula was designed to dominate both land and sea, giving you the edge in almost any battle. But, and this is a small but important point, the Akula could use just a tad more versatility outside of the water, sure. The water buffs are amazing, but they're also a bit limiting. You'll want to find ways to make use of the Akula's power on dry land too. Maybe with a couple of tweaks to their abilities or extra buffs, they'd be even more terrifying. But as it stands, if you're near water, the Akula is practically unstoppable. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.